people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. No, this is not a hostage video. This is a breaking news video. As you can see, I'm not in normal surroundings. I am on the road at the moment, but we're still bringing you the news. Make sure you smash up the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And Chelsea have submitted their first bid for Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho. It's the news that we were fearing. It's the news that I was telling you guys that was probably more than likely to happen. According to reports in Argentina, Chelsea have submitted their first offer. Now, the reports from the likes of Fabrizio, Matt Law, etc. are saying that Chelsea are readying their offer. They've spoken to Garnacho, the player side. They've obviously now going to initiate contact with Manchester United. Man United wanting 70 million euros, so it's about 60 million pounds. And reports are suggesting that they're insistent on that figure. They won't be playing, they won't be doing any discounted deals. They're not going to be wanting to take any players that they don't want and any type of an exchange deal. They've very much got our number covered on this one. And yeah, guys, I don't really know what to say about this. It's the news that we feared was coming. It's the news that I expected to happen. Obviously, there's still a bit of a way to go with this one. As of yet, it's unclear what the valuation of the first bid has been. Obviously, Chelsea won't be bidding straight in at 60 mil. It will be less than that. Again, Garnacho reportedly wants to stay in the Premier League. He's keen on the move. Already we're seeing Enzo Fernandez's name being used in reports, apparently because he's an Argentina teammate. You've also got Lisandro Martinez, who is his Argentinian teammate at Man United as well. So I'm not really quite sure what level of journalism that is, scooping in Enzo Fernandez into a story just because he's Argentinian. But hey, that's where we are right now. That's the level of the stuff that we're doing. But as I've said before on the shows and stuff, guys, I cannot get my head around this. Chelsea spent £100 million in the summer on Joao Felix and Pedro Neto, and then 6 months later have decided that we need to spend £60 million on Alejandro Garnacho. Now, I understand that Mykhailo Mudryk is obviously going to be sidelined for quite a while with a doping situation right now, but even with that said, there is ample cover in the squad at this point in time. You've got Madueke, you've got Sancho, you've got Pedro Neto, you've obviously got Tyreek George as well. You've got other players who can potentially play there as well. And I think, look, it's fair to say that this transfer is overhated. I think you know, Garnacho is not a shit player, but he's someone that, for me personally, is not an upgrade on what we've already got. Does he even go straight into the side to start? I don't think he does. And if you're looking at spending that much money, you wanting to bring someone in who is likely to go straight into that starting 11, and he quite simply isn't. I think another reason why this move is so disliked is because of his so-called attitude, because of his brother, his family, the tweets that have gone out, you know, in the past about Chelsea players, Cole Palmer, etc. And also because we're just seemingly ignoring positions that need to be filled. We still only have 2 fit midfield players right now, 0 depth in midfield, and we still got no striker. Yet we're insistent on spending £60 million on a winger who, yes, in the summer would perhaps make more sense, but right now it doesn't make sense. Giving us a winger in January is not going to help us achieve our goals of finishing in the top 4. What's going to help us do that is another midfielder and a striker. But seemingly, day 23 coming to a close in the January window, we are no closer to seemingly sorting out what needs to be addressed, and that for me is unforgivable. Do I expect this Garnacho deal to happen? Yeah, I absolutely do. I absolutely expect to happen. Will this first offer be rejected? I would imagine so. Will Chelsea and Man United find some sort of compromise? I think they probably will. Fabrizio saying that Chelsea are going to try and do the deal. It's a difficult one to do, with United insistent on that valuation. I think for me personally, a 60 million valuation is way too much. But having said that, you can understand why that valuation is in place. He's just 20 years old. He's played in the Premier League. He's an Argentina international. There is a skill set there. You might not like it. I'm not a huge fan of it, but there is upside there, and it is potentially an okay opportunity for the right price. If this was a 35-40 million pound signing, I think maybe people would be a lot more on board with it. But for 60 million, what you've got right now in Garnacho, it's not really moving me. It's not making an awful lot of sense, and it's one that, yeah, I cannot get my head round, and I just don't really understand how we operate as a football club, how we come to the decisions that we make, what the thought process is behind it, you know, how people can watch Chelsea and think that we don't need a striker, think that we don't need midfield depth. What we need is another winger who doesn't really score goals and doesn't really create very much. and another young player. Yes, he might be, you know, a little bit more established in the Premier League than some of the other signings that we've made. And yes, you know, you put him in a more stable environment and a better team. Yes, United are crap at the moment. Yes, it's one of the most unstable clubs in Europe right now. But should we really be helping them out? You know, they've got very little sellable assets. This would help them reinvest their squad and strengthen. Is that really something that we should be doing? This almost feels like United retribution for the Mason Mount situation. I just don't think that we want to be getting involved in that sort of thing. But hey, here we are. Unfortunately, it does look like this will happen, guys. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of this. And we're going to have to wait and see how it develops. But I've got a really bad feeling that, you know, this deal will get done. It seems that Chelsea are keen to do it. But one thing that we do know about us, and one thing that I may be holding a little bit of faith, is that we very much want to do deals on our terms. And if the deal's not right for us, we won't do it. So if we don't agree with a £60 million valuation, then we won't do it. But Chelsea seem very insistent on Garnacho. Garnacho wants to stay in the Premier League. Garnacho is open to a move to Chelsea. Napoli had a €50 million bid rejected. They're now in talks with Karim Adeyemi at Borussia Dortmund, which might suggest that they're not prepared to meet Man United's valuation, or they've entered into talks with Adeyemi to try and put some pressure on Garnacho and his camp. Potentially, you know, there's a lot of gamesmanship going on here. There's a lot of mind games being played, but one thing is for certain, it now very much seems like it's a one-horse race for Garnacho, and it's very much the only horse in that race is regrettably Chelsea. Now, how would he do here? I've got absolutely no idea. I think that's throwing it a little bit too far ahead right now, but you know, you put Garnacho into the mix. You've got Garnacho, you've got Madueke, Sancho, Neto. And then what does that mean for Tyreek George? Now, I'm not saying Tyreek George is some sort of world beater. He's 18 years of age. He's got a long way to go in his development. But that pretty much, if this signing goes through, that pretty much closes off any sort of development for him whatsoever at Chelsea Football Club. Where's his pathway to the first team if we go and sign Garnacho? Now, is Garnacho better than George? Yeah, he probably is right now. But could Tyreek George be better than Garnacho? We don't really know. And what that really means is we promoted Tyreek George to the first team squad. If this deal comes off, then what we're looking at right now is a situation where, yeah, where does Tyreek George's future lie at Chelsea? I'm not saying that every single academy player needs to make it or anything like that, but you promoted George to the first team squad with a view of integrating him into the team and developing him and getting more minutes, and you go and spend £60 million on a player in his position that's not really needed. I would rather wait till the summer. I would rather try and get maybe a Jamie Gittins, for example. There'll be other names on the list as well. Is Garnacho such a good opportunity in the market that we have to act now? We have to pay this much money to get him. Would we not be better off waiting till the summer? And if you've got that £60 million to spend this month, why would you not put it towards a striker? Why would you not put it towards something that we actually need that's going to be of benefit to the squad? Does Garnacho help us finish in the top 4 this season? No, I don't know. I don't believe he does. But a striker and midfield depth will absolutely help us finish in the top 4. And if we only end up signing Garnacho this month, then I look at it and I feel like a Champions League football is going to be a really, really big ask, and it's going to be very, very difficult for us. And it would be an absolute travesty to not back the manager with what he needs and to miss out on Champions League football for a 3rd consecutive season. I really do think that it's that critical this window to ensure that we get all these things right. But hey, what do I know, guys? What do I know? I'm just giving my opinions, but I just think that our priorities are in the wrong place. I just don't understand why we're not doing anything to address what needs to be addressed. And people keep saying to me, oh, Charlie, the window's not closed. The window's not closed. I'm aware of that. But what faith have you got that these guys are going to give us what we need? We've already seemingly wasted 3 weeks of the transfer window by doing nothing. And now we're about to spend more than likely £60 million on a player that we don't really need and doesn't help us achieve our immediate goals over the second half of the season. So forgive me if I'm being a little bit negative. Forgive me if I'm not entirely happy with how things are going at the football club right now in terms of the January transfer window and in terms of the direction we're going in regards to the level of squad building that we're doing. But that's how I feel right now. If people feel differently, if people just want to have blind faith in everything that's being done at the club, can't say anything bad about any decisions, and that's entirely up to them. But this is how I feel about the situation. I feel that we're making some big mistakes in the market, and only time will tell whether how we act this window is going to impact the second half of the season. But one thing I will say for sure, guys, is we missed out on the top form. We didn't back Maresca with what he needed in January. There's only one place the blame lays, and that is not with the manager. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here. But yeah, the news that we feared I think is going to come true. Alejandro Garnacho, I feel, will be a Man United player by the end. Sorry, be a Chelsea player by the end of the window. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you in another one soon. Smash the like, subscribe, as I said. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Up the Chelsea, and peace.